Yeah, this is Steady Rock, representing Boom Bap Professionals. This is MPC, Mind Power Composition. Keep it locked. Peace. Musical influences, man. I think, you know, hip hop has been a big influence on me, a big part of my life. I'm influenced by like a lot of music, man. I think, you know, back in the day, my mum used to play a lot of music, man, like a lot of different type of music. Growing up as a kid, I was exposed to a lot of different music, but I think once the hip hop bug kind of caught me, I was kind of hooked really into that. But obviously, through a lot of the samples that I take and I use, I'm influenced a lot by that music. I kind of hear a lot and learn a lot from digging and picking up music and tracks that I've never ever heard of, or styles like world music and like classical stuff and all kind of things, man. I think really my influence came from like digging through soul breaks and things like that. But I think all kind of stuff, man. Like any music that I hear that I like is influential to me. Just like anyone that I hear talk about something, educates me about something, is influential to me. So that's really my musical influences. I suppose, like you'd say, eclectic, but hip hop does inform a lot of my tastes and a lot of my, you know, and the soul music behind those original hip hop records really has influenced me, I think. First, like proper producer like piece of equipment, I suppose, would probably be like my turntables. I used to kind of obviously like steal my mum's record player and mash up the stylus on it, and I had like two separate stereos with no mixer, just trying to play music between them. But then my first actual piece of gear was an MPC 2000 in around 97. I went to college, had some money, I was working part-time and whatever, and I bought the MPC 2000. They relaunched the MPC range from, obviously they had the 60 and the 3000. Yeah, that's probably my first proper piece, like actual piece of equipment I could actually make beats on. Before that, yeah, turntables like the Technics 1200s were what I used really, like making pause mixtapes and all that stuff. But yeah, MPC was the first bit of gear I had that I said I could own. You know, it was mine, and I could start trying to like chop up some ideas that I had. Was I showing the ropes? No. I obviously with the turntable stuff, like I had friends who, you know, who were good DJs, and they knew how to cut and like loop stuff up. But with the MPC, no, not at all. I like no one I knew had one at the time I got one. I don't think so. And yeah, I just had to learn, like just taught myself, man. I didn't really know how to use it, but just started like working with it and understanding, like, okay, you take a sample and you assign it to a pad and it just builds from there really. But yeah, I didn't have anyone to show me. I mean, when I went to college, people were using Cuebae and things like that. So I had people that I knew who produced, and I knew, I guess, like you just on the grapevine you hear, you know, about how things work. But like as it stands, I actually get my first machine, the 2K. I just picked it up and just messed with it. Just spent some time really until I got to a point where I was like, oh, okay, I get it. I understand that you put this here and you have these ticks and these bars and you can program stuff here. So yeah. I bought my MPC 2000 like brand new from Sounds Live, I think it was called, or Sound Control, one of these places, you know, these equipment places. and I remember buying it. Like I said, brand new. I had some money. I was at college. I'd been working part time and all that, and I saved my money, and I was like, I'm going to buy something. I heard that MPCs were being relaunched from the classic Roger Lynn 60s and 3000s. Bought it, like I said, brand new in the box. Got like, I paid extra for the 8 outs. I remember that, so I could actually mix the tracks down. But I think I bought that a little later. But got the effects board in there and stuff, so you could do a little reverb on snares and things. But yeah, I just kind of, like I said, bought it from the shop brand new. Didn't know how to use it. Obviously, I had a manual. The manual's like some Japanese kind of origami kind of shit. It was just you know, basic operations. Obviously I read bits and just went, okay, yeah, that's how you save, that's how you load. And then really I think beyond that, like beyond the basic operation of how to do it, is like driving a car. It's like, okay, this is how you drive, and then it's up to you how you drive. You either drive like a nutter, or you drive like all safe and stuff. Yeah, just kind of, yeah, just like picked up bits from the manual. You know, I kind of, if something's with a manual, I will read the manual a little bit, I suppose. But like I said, the MPC 2000 manual was like thick, and it was mad, like Japanese and blah 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 blah. I think just picking up bits from that, and then just using something, man. As soon as you start using it, you kind of, you know, like, oh, okay, that's how the basic operations work. But actually making it a creative instrument is not, you can't really get a manual to show you how to sample or how to like chop up a breakbeat, you know. So I think you know, the basics of stuff you can pick up, but I think you've got to really, like I said, you know, it's like driving a car, man. Like you get a car, someone can say, yeah, it does this much, it's like brake horsepower is this, and it does that, and you can do, it's got these little gadgets, but until you start actually driving it yourself, you're just not going to understand how to use it. And I think that's the same with NPCs, or, you know, I don't think anyone can walk, like, just step out and say, yeah, I can use this straight away. You know, you've got to learn how to use it your way. I've met so many people use things different ways. I've seen people chop on an MPC completely differently to the way I would do it. Yeah, I love seeing that. That's the good thing about using equipment like this, I suppose. You know, it's everyone uses it to their advantage, I suppose, to their own creative way of thinking, man. Mastering the MPC. So I started with the 2000 Akai, the classic 2000, not the XL, the classic one. I think it's, I don't think you can master it. I don't think there's any, like, yeah, you know, I've totally mastered something. I can, because like I said, you'll hear someone use it completely different to you. I've seen like people like Exile and people like that just, you know, use it as an actual like live instrument and do like kind of mad live stuff. And then I've seen like, you know, I think Kanye West still uses one. I don't even know, but I'm saying I know he did. You know, I'm not sure if he uses it now, but like everyone uses it so different. So I don't think I would ever say I've mastered. I'd never feel like I've mastered it. I don't think I can ever be kind of arrogant enough to think that I've learned everything I can with it. I've done everything I can with it. I think I've got a good grounding in it. I definitely know how to do everything. I could do it with my eyes shut. You could blindfold me now and I would know how to put together something on the MPC. But I think, you know, like with any piece of equipment, and there's always more to learn, and like more to learn from other producers and stuff. If I see someone using it, they're always going to hopefully be different than I am. You know, the way I use it might be completely different to the way someone else does. I've seen people use it more as like a sort of piece of MIDI outboard gear and just use it to control plugins and things like that. Especially like the MPC RENs and all that now, they're kind of, you know, it's software based. It's like a hardware sequencer controller I like to use, I use the 2500 and the 2000 and the SP1200 as well, more for just kind of looping up breaks and chopping up things. But yeah, I don't think I could ever really master it. There's always something different I could come with, or like every beat that I work on, everything I do hopefully has a different element to it anyway. Sometimes it's just straight loops and sometimes it's like chops, so it's always a different piece of gear really. You could find different ways of using it. So yeah, I don't know about mastering it. I think I'm a master of it, but there's always different, there's always something new to learn. There's always something new to do. Yeah, I do still own my first piece of productive musical equipment, MPC 2 Cuebae K. MPC 2K. Yeah, this is my baby. This will go everywhere that I go. I don't use it so much now. I'm more on the like newer ones, but yeah, it's still just feel that solid piece of workmanship. It's heavy. It's got like nice boards in it. It's a proper piece of equipment, man. Yeah, so I do still own my original baby, man. My first lady, my first love, the most thing I've probably ever spent money on. It cost me like £1,200, I think, at the time. That's what MPCs cost before eBay, before second-hand market. But yeah, man, I still own it, and I've still got beats on here that, with the zip drive and whatever, and the floppy disks. I still love to play around with it, man. I mean, I love the 2K, I love the SP1200, I love the machine, whatever gear, man, whatever, just, whatever you can make a beat with, really. People use Fruity and Logic, and it's all good, man. But yeah, I still have my MPC 2K, man. It's a good machine. It's a solid machine. It does exactly what you throw at it. You throw anything, and it will do it. It'll work. And that's it. It still works. However many years later it is. 17 years. 2007. I think that's 1997. I mean, yeah. All these years later, man, it still works for me. Do I feel it's the right piece of gear for me? Or was the right piece of gear to kickstart me into what I do now? Yeah, definitely. I'm still using MPCs to this day, so it must have been the right piece of gear, man. The sampling engine, the inputs and outputs, being able to put the 8 outputs in it, and I got to a point. Obviously, in my early days, I was making beats, on a stereo out. Got the 8 outs, was able to like actually track out my beats properly, onto a desk like I've got here. Separate the kicks and the snares and actually get like, into actually from making beats to actually producing tracks, like properly producing them, and being able to split everything out and mix and process. So yeah, I think it was the right piece for me, man. It's led me on to like a lifelong relationship with MPCs and hardware. So yeah, definitely. What equipment do I use now and why? I'm mainly MPC 2500. Just for the simple fact that it's a logical upgrade from the 2000 to, it's pretty much the same machine, albeit made by Mark, but that aside. It's pretty much the same. Yeah, it's the same kind of hardware, same kind of layout. The advantage being now I can have a hard drive inside it, and it's got USB, even though it's USB 1.1, it's like slow as shit, but I can back it up to my PC and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, it's the same sort of workflow really. Like a lot of the projects I've done have been split between this, the 2500, the 2000, and the SP1200. and the 950 as well with the 1200. Yeah, that's kind of, yeah, that's my general workflow, and obviously like a bit of software as well. Like a lot of obviously all the recording is software based, but I'm still really enjoying making beats on the MPC hardware, man. So long may it live, hopefully. Obviously they've got the MPC RUN and the studio and even the iPad Fly thing or whatever they've got now, which is all good. Yeah, 2500 is that's my weapon of choice, as it were. It allows me to just bang out a lot of sketch out a lot of the projects I want to do with that. So, yeah. What equipment have I used over the years? 2000, the MPC 2000, MPC 60 a little bit, although I don't own one, but I've used one. MPC 2500, and I've got like an MPC 500, the little battery operated portable one, which is kind of cool just for doing little silly bits. And like my son plays around with that now, but it's kind of a toy, but it's got its perks, the fact that it's battery operated, you could just take it anywhere. S950, Akai S950, I've run a lot of loops through the 950, just purely for the grit of it, and the time stretching and stuff, and the filtering. SP1200, which I've used for a lot of drums, done a few full beats on there, but again it sort of ends up coming back to the MPC 2500. I've got the MIDIs on there, so I can sync it up with the PC and whatnot. So yeah, it's kind of like over the years, and that Cuebae and all that sort of stuff. But I really prefer like sequencing beats and putting beats together in the MPC. Do I prefer software or hardware? Hardware, I guess. I mean, software. For me, software is great for like recording vocals, and I know a lot of people use software now to produce beats, and that's cool, man. Like at the end of the day, no one can dictate how you do stuff. I've seen people make amazing stuff on Fruity Loops and Reason and things like that. But for me personally, just the actual sort of tactile element of having the actual hands and pressing buttons and pads and things is the one. That's how I feel comfortable making tracks, and how a lot of my contemporaries and the people I look up to and whatever do the same thing. So yeah, I would never knock software. It's just not me. It's just not me, man. I like the hands-on feel of hardware. I like analog equipment. I like doing things the way that like people used to do. Made all the classic stuff that I'm into through using hardware. Software's banging though, like that's it with the machine. I've got the machine here now. I'll definitely be like delving more into that and seeing what it can do. But even that to me is it's a piece of hardware equipment. The fact that it's still giving you like a box with pads on it and buttons is that they realise that a lot of people really like to produce in that manner. So that's kind of me for now, man, but who knows in the future. But yeah, I enjoy hardware over software for me. Favourite brand of musical equipment and why? It'd be quite easy, I suppose, to say Akai, just because obviously I'm a fan of MPCs and whatever. Yeah, I think obviously the Roger Lynn original Akai's probably would be my favourite, just for the whole legacy of that equipment, the way it was built. They were built like tanks, man. Then MPC 60s are still going to this day, But I also shout out to EMU, the EMU SP1200s, like that will never be made again. They can't be made again because they're literally the boards they use, the chips they use, they're just, you can't manufacture them now, they don't exist. So for that fact, I'd probably say EMU, the original EMU stuff. But on a sort of favorite basis, Akai, just because I own more Akais than anything else. But there's so many good equipment manufacturers, you know what I mean, like Yamaha and all this. My mix is the Yamaha, the MPC is Akai, my 950 is Akai, but the SP1200, man, just for the fact I think that you can't even replicate or make them boards again. They give that Pete Rock filter sound. Shout out to Emu on that aspect. What would I recommend to a beginner? Okay, I'll be kind of biased in a way. Again, talking about hardware and now any young person, old person, whatever, but any person coming to music production, from scratch. Software is obviously a whole lot easier to attain, to acquire. So I'd say, Fruity, Reason, Logic, Cuebae, whatever. But if you have the chance, get some hardware, man. Like, even if it is like, say, a machine, which is half software, half hardware. Just to even have that experience of just programming stuff, not just clicking a mouse, like clicking buttons. Obviously that's down to money and stuff, but if you're serious about what you do, invest, man, like buy something, do you know what I mean? Buy a used MPC, buy an MPD, like at least a hardware controller. It's something to mess around with, man. I think just being able to have that actual hands-on experience of how to use it, even if it's not what you're going to use, it's a really good grounding, I think, for learning how stuff works, learning how to make beats, just being able to actually touch things and hit pads and hear what it is you're trying to sketch out. So yeah, try some hardware. I chose hardware over software because it wasn't the easy option, and that's where it was really. I could have got like a cracked copy of Fruity Loops or whatever it is. Again, nothing wrong with that, but I wanted to use, like, when I first heard about MPCs, or when I first had the opportunity to buy an MPC from the new late 90s availability of them, and they got re-released as a 2000. I just chose that because that's what people that I looked up to did. I didn't hear about any producers using software to make beats, and it didn't exist. Primo was on an MPC, Pete Rock was on an SP, Lord Finesse was on an SP and an MPC or whatever. Large Pro was SP. It's just those pieces of them iconic pieces of gear that you hear about. That's why I chose it really. Maybe if I was coming into it now, in these days and times, I might have started on Fruity, but I just can't see myself clicking buttons on a PC. As opposed to chopping up on an actual piece of hardware. I've used on sampling. It's all good, man. That's what I do. Digging the crates, digging the charity shops, digging the record shops. Find stuff I want to sample and sample, man. That's sampling is the essence of everything that we do. The reason we've got beats, the reason we keep making beats is just hearing something, man. The music I do it's about sampling. It's about creating something new out of something old. So yeah, I'm a big sampling advocate, as it were. Yeah, it's all about sampling, man. And I'm playing as well, man. Playing stuff is all good. I do that as well. On some tracks, but yeah, sampling, man, digging in the crates, finding that old soul, that old jazzy kind of stuff. Yeah, man, that's what we do. What kind of music do I sample the most? Probably it's kind of like maybe a bit cliche to say, but soul music, man. Like soul is just kind of the essence of a lot of the stuff I do. But I mean, anything abstract, you know, like rock and jazz and maybe even more abstract stuff. Anything, I'm game for anything, man. If a sample's good, I'm taking it. Right? It doesn't really matter what it's from. But obviously, soul music is a big influence. Soul music and reggae, like rare groove kind of stuff. But yeah, like the classic kind of soul sample stuff, man. Same with the groove and something with a bit of heart to it. Do I share my sample info? Not really, I guess. It's kind of like, I don't know really. I suppose if you go digging and you find stuff, sometimes you might even give that to someone, or you might, you know, you might hear something so good you're like, oh, like, have you heard this, or have you heard this artist? You might put someone else onto another artist. But I say generally, I kind of come from that way of thinking that, you know, you find is yours. You're trying to find something that no one else has, or no one else has used, or at least using something, you know, in a way that no one else has. I don't really, you know, I'm happy to flip samples that have been used before, if I feel to, if I catch a vibe on it. And yeah, it's I wouldn't say I really go around like sharing that info. It's kind of, yeah, it's one of them, innit, man. You might find like a rare break, but you know, you want people to hear it as well at the same time. So I guess, yeah, I guess I would share it. But some things, man, you've got to keep your cards to your chest. How do I get my samples? How do I acquire them? Mainly, I'm a vinyl head, man. I'm a digger. I'm DITC. I'm digging the crates. That's how I really like enjoy finding stuff. I'm not against people using, you know, YouTube or like digital online or whatever. That's cool as well, because if I find something that I like online, or something I don't have or I can't obtain, you know, physically on vinyl, then I'll take it. Yeah, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that, man. But in my heart, I'm a digger. I like digging and finding stuff I want to use. I would say 99% of my stuff is vinyl based. Favorite sampler? I want to say MPC because I use them a lot, but favourite sampler for what it could do and what it can do is probably a S950, Akai S950, just for the simple fact that, you know, in conjunction with an SP or an old MPC, you have that sample time that you didn't have in the boxes, but you have the filter. Like the filter's just beautiful in it, man. Just filtering them old bass lines. So I'd probably say, yeah, S950 would be, I think, is probably like my favourite piece of equipment, even though it's not something that I use exclusively now. I think an S950, yeah, it's a nice machine, man. Favourite software? It's hard to say what my favourite software is, because I don't produce in software. I see the sort of advantage or the good bits of using like Fruity or Reason or something like that, but I think probably like Cuebae or Protools is just my favourite piece of software, just because it's something that I use. You know, I use those in the studio to record vocals and track out beats. I think like Protools, Cuebae, Logic as well, but I don't produce in them, so it's kind of hard to say from that perspective. But from recording vocals and actually tracking beats, then yeah, probably those ones. Drums or samples in a track, what's more essential? I think it depends on the track. There's certain tracks that I've started with drums only, just because it's been like an actual drum break that I've chopped up or something, rather than, you know, just programming drums. But if I had to pick one, I'd probably say sample. Like, that's the thing that usually dictates where the track's going to go, rather than drums. But, you know, I favour the drums just as much, so it's 50-50, man. I don't know how I would choose between those two, really. A sample, like I said often, is the thing that like is the catalyst to like your track, and hearing a sample is the thing that makes you want to make that track around the sample. But drums are just as important too, man. But yeah, sample probably I'd pick if I had to. Best MPC. I'd say like a MPC 3000 is probably the most important. Actually, maybe a 60 actually, but a 60 or a 3000 are probably the most important MPCs that have existed, just for the pure fact that you could talk about Primo using a 60 with a 950. You could talk about Havoc using a 3000. You know, Rizzy using MPCs. Yeah, that's a tough question actually. It's a tough question for me. Like, the first one I knew hands-on was a 2000, so to me that's the most important one. You know, it brought back, minus Roger Lynn, it brought back that MPC hardware thing that they're still developing to this day. Obviously you've got the 2500, which I use a lot, 5000, which is the step up from the 2500, and obviously now the Ren in the studio and all these new software-based ones. But yeah, that's a tough one. Two favourite instruments, probably bass guitar and I want to pick something really obscure and like weird and that, but probably like trumpet or saxophone or some kind of like wind instrument. I think some sort of brass instrument. Yeah, bass guitar maybe is something that I would pick as an instrument that I hear in things and really like and enjoy. I can probably do like basics of a bass guitar, basics of a guitar even maybe, but and maybe some drums or something. But you know, instruments, yeah, not something that really I would say I can play. I'm not an accomplished, you know, musical instrument musician. But yeah, I think if I could play bass, you know, I can play basic bass. But I mean, if I could play it like a real like Don bass player, then that'd be pretty cool. If I could play an instrument, what would it be? Probably bass guitar. If I was to learn an instrument and actually know, you know, how to play it properly, and not just like bang things out of it, but actually know, own that instrument, then yeah, maybe that. And then, like I said, maybe some kind of brass instrument or wind instrument, man. Or even the drums, man, like playing the drums properly, like getting some Flavor Flav kind of, you know, hip hop artist, but they can play the drums. That'd be cool. Two producers I could work with. It's difficult, man. Primo would be an obvious choice just for the fact that like it's Primo, and you know what I mean. But I've seen like I guess I've seen a lot of the way like he works, and you know, I understand a lot about his kind of method, I suppose, to doing stuff in a way. But maybe like Pete Rock would be interesting, because I just love to see how he did that whole SP950 thing back in the Mecca and Soul Brother main ingredient days, just seeing how he worked with that particular equipment. And RZA as well. RZA would be, you know, he's just one of them guys, man. He's just produced so much stuff that, you know, influenced me and that I grew up on. And he's an interesting producer. I think he does the more like left field style of production sometimes, and I remember reading like articles, you know, with him where he talked about how every time he did a new project he would get a new piece of equipment. So he had like an MV8, you know, 8000 or 8800 or whatever, an MPC, an SP. You know, yeah, every time he did a project, he tried to find, you know, he sort of treated himself, bought himself a new piece of gear and learned how to use that. And I think that's like an interesting aspect to his production, or like maybe seeing how he would do that if I was to work with him. So yeah, but like Pete Rock and RZA. Yeah, that's right. Top 3 producers. Okay, Primo, DJ Premier, just for obvious reasons really. I'm sure anyone would understand why I might pick someone like him. Yeah, DJ Premier is definitely one of the, like, you know, people, everyone that I know would consider him one of the best producers of hip hop ever. Who else? Three producers. Primo, I'd probably take it back as well, and like someone like Marley Marl. Someone like Marley Marl was really, you know, influential to a lot of artists that I know, and also, you know, influential to me, man. Who else? Might have to pick RZA again. I think, like, when you look at the catalogue of records he's produced and what he did, like what he tried to do, and what, you know, how he did it, then RZA, yeah. I'd pick them. I want to pick more than 3, to be honest with you, but like Primo, Marley Marl, RZA. I put Pete Rock in there, Dre, Diamond D. Oh man, so many. I need like 10. I need to be able to like pick 10, I think. But yeah. Okay, if I could pick 2 MCs on the spot that I'd want to work with, that I'd want to feature on something I was doing, Raskas, and I'm gonna pick Evidence, just as a purely as a right now. I made some beats today that I could hear them on, and there's so many I would pick, like on top of that, like Guru, rest in peace, Guru. I would get Killer Priest on a joint. I said Raskas already. It's kind of like a 4 Horsemen kind of thing going on there. Oh man, there's so many. Royce 5'9". MC Ren. I would just pick so many. If I could pick like my ultimate like team, it'd be like a random, like Ice Cube. Back in the day, Ice Cube. Yeah, so many good MCs. But yeah, like people, Raskas and Evidence of that kind of new, you know, the people that have stayed relevant and are still working now, making independent hip-hop music, and like good, you know, just dope lyricists, man. Like Rock Marciano. Oh man, there's so many I would pick. I'll come back with a list. I'll write you a list of my wish list. Who I've been listening to currently. Again, man, you know, this is the thing when people talk about like hip hop being dead or whatever. It's blatantly not, but there's so much good stuff. Like I lose kind of track, to be honest, of so much stuff. But you got like people like Doppelgangers, you know, doing independent stuff and just being like hugely dope, like all around. You've got like you know, people like Hex One. Man, you've got so many. I find it hard because I need to sit and just write down all the people, like check my iPhone and see what I've been bumping. Do you know what I mean? There's so many of the like greats, like I said, like the Primo and Royce project, or you know, the new Ghostface project. But like, yeah, there's so many independent artists, man. Like the Underachievers are doing like some great stuff. Doppelgangers. You've got like obviously all the UK cats like Triple Darkness and all these guys doing like Capo. You know what I mean? All these like just like dope artists, like modern day like lyricists. Do you know what I mean? Just actually making good music, man. It's like there's so many. My brain's even just like swelling. Then I can't really think of all them individual ones, but just so many different people. You got like that sort of Run the Jewels stuff happening, you know, which is like a completely different flavour. There's so many like good like independent hip hop, like true school like rap music. And there's so much good stuff. Just go out and hunt for it, man. It's there. There's so much good stuff. So much good stuff. You just gotta look for it, man. That's what Bandcamp and all that's for, man. Just search for it. And there's so many guys, like so many people that I've never even heard of, and you've probably never heard of. You know, just making good underground rap music, man. The joint that me and Effects did called Just Another Day from the Boom Bap Bootleg Volume 1, 2007-8. This is a personal favourite, I think, of what we did as pros in the early days. It was just something, I threw the beat together, played it to Effects. Effects was like, yeah, I want to ride it. We talked about what to do on it, and really we just, he's sort of come with a story really about like what we do on a day-to-day basis, man. Just living, working, raising kids, you know what I mean, checking MySpace for progress, as he says in the rhyme, shows the age of the rhyme. Yeah, it's a real favourite, man. We've done a couple of EPs before this, but this was like the start of the kind of modern day pros, before we did Force a Habit and all that. Yeah, so it's definitely a personal favourite, just being real about us as day-to-day men, man, just beyond hip-hop and just, you know, just living, you know what I mean. So yeah, he really, the beat and the lyrics that he did are just perfect on this one, man. It's a favourite. This is Class of 94, another pros joint from Back in the Habit EP that we did. This was a video and a single. Again, man, this is one of them like me and Effects like concept tracks, I suppose. I made a beat, and he was talking to me about the whole idea behind it, that he's, you know, we're living in 94 and we're at school. You know, we're catching a school bus with the usual, you know, Redman Artifacts and these crews from them. He smacked it, man. This is just, yeah. I suppose one of the things where like the beat, it was exactly what I was hoping for. Like when I made the beat, I was hoping for like a concept track, and yeah, I think if I remember right, Effects came to me with the idea, and obviously I sampled like the buckshot thing, like the take it back to 94. So it's perfect, man. Just it just worked. I said we had the video and the single to this. It's just real like Effects, like name checking all the rappers that influenced us, man, and I was paying homage to them really, I suppose. And my boy like Rob from Bradley Drawn Pictures did the video, and I used a lot of the imagery, like took a lot of shots of the singles from back then, and yeah, man, it's just one of them tracks, man. We just focused on the thing we wanted to do. Had an idea, man, like a theme rather than just bars about nothing, freestyle bars. We came with a real concept. It's one of my favourites, I think, from what I've done. And it always, whenever we do this live, man, it always goes down like really well. So yeah, it's a good joint, man. I love this. Oh yeah. This is a joint by myself and Rain, from the EP Educated Perspective. It's on this track called Where You Really From, and me and Rain spent a lot of time in the studio, man. Like we really, you know, we wrote a lot of stuff as I did the beats and whatever. And he was talking about sort of doing a track. He gets, you know, he was saying he gets lots of questions in his day-to-day life about like, oh, where are you from? Are you African, Jamaican, what are you? You know, where are you from? That sort of question that a lot of people get. And I remember he was talking about writing a rhyme that kind of reflected that, I suppose. So yeah, I put this track together, like sampled like a reggae track. I won't give away, I won't sample snitch and say where I got it from. some of you might be able to figure it out, but yeah, I just kind of chopped it up, and he just came with on his game, man. He just wrote a track about what it was like to be like a British black man, and all that stuff, and all the ins and outs that come with that. We got my man Almighty on the cuts. Shouts to Almighty. He cut up that black twang shit and that Tribe Called Quest thing for us. Yeah, he smacked it, man. Like I said, I spent a lot of time in the lab with Rain, putting the whole concept of the EP together. It wasn't like an internet thing, like sending beats. We actually sat together and put beats together with him. And yeah, man, he came, man. Shouts to Rain and the EP, Educated Perspective. Check it out, man. It's a dope release. And this is a joint I did with Crusader, Stay on My Grind, from the 11th Hour Massacre album. And it's like Crusader's an animal, man. Shine like a RUN-DMC chain I bling. Yeah, man, this is one of them projects that just real like organic. The way we like went about doing it. Crusader's like a long-term collaborator with BDP, man. He's been on all the Pros stuff. He's on Effects' album. We've done stuff with him. But yeah, man, we had this conversation in a studio session, man. And he was like, just mad, like despondent with rap music. He just wasn't feeling the way things were, and the whole commercial thing and thugged out thing. And he was just chatting to me, man, just going, yeah, I've kind of given up. I'm not writing. I can't be bothered with it. And then he came to the studio and I played him some beats, and he was just like, oh man, I'm really feeling this. And that's where the whole title, that 11th Hour Massacre, came from. He was like, oh, you saved my like confidence in it in the 11th hour of the game. I was just giving up and I couldn't be bothered. And he's really feeling this stuff, man. I'm a big fan of Crusader, man. I've always supported him and I respect what he does. And yeah, man, he came with it, man. He wrote his rhymes. He came and laid it down with the 11th Hour Massacre album. This was a single and a video. And yeah, man, he was just crew, man. It's Crusader, his family. Do you know what I mean? He's part of the team. So, I'm looking forward to in the future doing more stuff with him, hopefully, This was a really like strong project for us, man. And yeah, he smacked it, man. He's just an all-round like dope MC, like live show. You know what I mean? Like writing lyrics. He's got lyrics on this tracks on this album that are like really personal, and then he's just got his hip hop shit, just like throw your hands in the air kind of thing. But yeah, shouts to Crusader, man. It's my boy. This is a joint we did. We formed a group called KTN, Kill the Noise. This is me, Effects, and Crusader. Just wanted to come really like I said earlier. We always work together, man. So we're just like let's put a group together. Do you know what I mean? Just do something together. And yeah, like it was just a natural progression, really, I suppose, just to kind of get us together and actually do, have Effects and Crusader back to back on my beats. In this track called Respect Me, which is really just both of them just talking about like how they paid their hip hop dues and they've been doing it for years, and just talking about like their place in the game, really. And it's probably one of my favourite tracks on the EP that we did. The EP's called Kill the Noise, KTN Kill the Noise. We had a track on there with Kingpin featuring some Caxton Press. Shout out to Caxton Press. Yeah, man, this is like one of them ones when we do live, just goes down well. It's probably my favourite beat on the project, just the way I like chop the bits together, like the little vocal noises and stuff. Jabba the Cut did the cuts on it. He smacked it. Gave me the idea and told me what we wanted. And yeah, man, this is like this is an obvious progression, like really after doing like the Crusader album and the Dark Side of the Boom album. just getting effects and Crusader together, man, was always something I wanted to do, and all the fans were always talking about them working together. So yeah, this is a good joint, man. Like, hopefully, you know, fingers crossed in the future, man, we'll do a part 2 and try and bring them both back together again and see what we can do. Yeah.
Man, I'm living a dream. When his tongue cuts back, blood, I finish them all. Paint pictures with clarity like crap.
And this is me and O Suds, the Crunkstone all of a sudden. Again, man, he's like a long-term like collaborator with us and with me, and we talked for ages about doing like a project together. So we came to the Shutdown. This is my. I like all the joints, but this is the opener to the EP. I think just, I mean, he did the rhyme for me. It's just like one verse, like that kind of intro verse style, and man, he just killed it. That's my boy O Suds. Just played him the beat, and he killed it, man. Just beats and rhymes, it works. You know what I mean? Again, Almighty on the cut. Shouts to Almighty once again. Again, another like live track, man. When we do it live, it's like a party starter, man. Just got that bounce to it, and yeah, it just comes with the illness, man. O Suds, BBP, and yeah, banging. Love this track, man. Retire now.
Homo rats making bozo tracks, and no one's digging you like Perry Tomo's whack. This one's for all the real hip hop heads out there.
This is Lifetime's Steady Effects, as the man said. This was our lead single off Force Habit 2010 album. It's just like, this track, I suppose, like, obviously I like the track, man, but it's got a special place in my heart, man, because this is like our lead single off the proper debut album. We had like mixtapes and EPs and singles and all that, but this was like our single, you know what I mean, like our first single, and yeah, Force to Habit, man, did real well, do you know what I mean, and like the fans took to it and stuff, and it meant a lot to us, man. Like, we did a video, this was I think it was our first video we shot to this that we'd ever done, like properly, like a proper video. Yeah, just got like the Mobb Deep sample on the hook, which was something that Effects gave me the idea for. He was like, I want to use that line, I want to write about this, and you know, we worked real like organically like that, man. Just, I like to be like a producer, not like a beat maker. Not to knock that, but you know, like just to kind of work with an artist, man, with their ideas or what they're thinking about writing about, or whatever's gotten them pissed off recently. Let's write about that. Let's do something. So yeah, this is Lifetimes, man. Like I said, like a lot of fans to this day, man, still like really enjoy this track. So it's an important one for us, man. I really like this. K-Lash, not the fame. This is another one off Force of Habit. Third single I think we did. For the Love, it was just kind of self-explanatory, man. It was just, again, man, me and Effects just doing hip hop because we love it. Just fuck everything else. Just doing it because we like doing the music, man. I think this was, if I remember, this is probably one of the first tracks we did from the album. We recorded this probably sort of 6 months, you know, a year before the album came out. It was, like, we had demo versions of it for a while, which are still around. It's slightly different, but this was, yeah. And then again, my boy Rob, who did Lifetimes and the Crusader video, he was just like, yeah, you know, we shot a rough video to it, like a kind of budget version, and yeah, he was just like, yeah, let's do this one. And it just turned out to be a single. It did really well, man. I think people really, you know, appreciated this. It was just like, for the love, just heart on our sleeve kind of stuff. Just, this is what we do, man. Like, this is what we love. And I think the again, man, I don't want to give away my samples, man, but if I remember, I think this is something DJ Philly like gave me. If I remember rightly, I'm sure it's like a Ringo Starr kind of thing, but I'm not gonna sample snitch on myself, man. Like get all sued and that, but yeah. It was just one of them, like chopped it up with that vocal and played it to effects, and he was like, man, yeah, alright. This is how things work for us, man. Just, you know, come up with a nice beat, like, yeah. I think if a beat just like dictates where a track goes, and an MC can write it properly, that's hip hop. That's perfect, like perfection. That's just what you want, man. Play it to an MC and say, I was thinking about this. I felt a bit happy, sad, whatever at the time. Played it to effects and he was like, yeah, I've got this. And yeah, for the love, man, we do it for the love. Okay, this is a track I did for me and Oliver Sudden's album, Preservatives. This is called Closer, or I'm sure it's not going to be called that actually, but my beat's called Closer. I've got like a piano thing in here that I chopped up. You can hear you've got the chops. They're not particularly like elegantly chopped at the moment, but that's the main elements. Yeah, as you can see, also got the you've got the drums in there, chopped from vinyl, little obviously like break beats just chopped up. So we've got them on the different pads here. Like I said, we've got the where are we? We've got the pianos there. We've got the vocal samples racking. Flavor Flav racking. Yeah, so we basically layer them things together. We've got the bass, the drums, the vocal samples, and it kind of turned out like this. Closer and the closer I get, better it sounds. Closer and the closer I get, better it sounds. Closer and the closer I get, better it sounds. Closer and the closer I get, better it sounds. The crowd. Closer and the closer I get, better it sounds. Bass. Closer and the closer I get, better it sounds. The crowd. Closer and the closer I get, better it sounds. Closer and the closer I get, better it sounds. The crowd. Closer and the closer I get, better it sounds. Piano. Closer and the closer I get, better it sounds. The crowd. Closer and the closer I get, better it sounds. Yeah. So that's the elements really. Chopped up the sample. Where is it? Closer and the closer I get, better it sounds. Closer and the closer I get, better it sounds. The crowd. Closer and the closer I get, better it sounds. Piano and the drums, the bass. Take out the drums. Closer and the closer I get, better it sounds. Closer and the closer I get, better it sounds. The crowd. Closer and the closer I get, better it sounds. Some bits in here I haven't even used, man. They sound ill. Closer chopping up that sample, chopping up them breaks. You've got the bass elements in there as well. You can filter them out, and if you want to do a little filter on it. You know, it's about finding what you like out of the sample.
Closer and the closer I get, the better it sounds. Closer and the closer.
I like the heaviness of that, like with the bass in it. You could take it like more trebly. Or just, yeah. Take more of the bass.
Closer and the closer I get, the better it sounds. Closer and the closer I get, the better it sounds. The crowd. Closer and the closer I get, the better it sounds. Closer and the closer I get, the better it sounds. The crowd. Closer and the closer I get, the better it sounds.
Yeah, you got the basics of the beat there, man. Kick, snare, hat, bass elements, the chopped up piano. Yeah, that's it, man. That's how you do a beat.